Let me be completely honest with you right now. What I am about to share has the power to completely change the way your partner sees you. Not tomorrow, tonight. Most men have no idea they are making the same critical mistake over and over again, and that mistake is costing them everything: the attraction, the desire, the connection, and the enthusiasm their partner once had for them. If you have ever felt your partner pulling away after intimacy, if you have ever sensed that something was missing but you could not name it, then pay very close attention to every single word I am about to say. Because this is the information that almost no one is willing to say out loud. I am Dr. Marina Sinabria, urologist, and today I am going to give you the real science behind intimate movement, rhythm, and tempo. The kind of science that transforms an ordinary man into someone his partner genuinely cannot stop thinking about. Physical intimacy is not something random. It is not something that just happens. It is a true art form, and like every art form in this world, it must be studied, practiced, and refined. A painter does not pick up a brush for the first time and create a masterpiece. A musician does not sit at a piano and immediately move an audience to tears. And yet most men walk into the bedroom believing that no preparation is needed, that desire alone is enough, that enthusiasm replaces skill. It does not. The truth is that real pleasure, the kind that creates deep emotional bonds and makes a partner genuinely crave you, only arrives when both people are completely synchronized, when there is a real dialogue between bodies, when both partners are reading each other, responding to each other, and moving together as one. That level of connection does not happen by accident. It is built deliberately, step by step, through understanding and intention. Today, I will walk you through exactly when to accelerate, when to pause, and why these choices create an entirely different neurobiological experience for your partner. Because behind every sensation, there is science, and that science is what I am here to give you. Let us begin with one of the most common and most damaging myths in male intimacy: the belief that speed is strength, the belief that intensity from the very beginning is what drives pleasure. This is wrong. This is deeply, fundamentally wrong. And it is the first thing I want you to unlearn right now. When most men enter the bedroom, they believe their job is to penetrate, to perform movements, and to finish as quickly as their body allows. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and everything is over. This is not intimacy, this is not pleasure, and this is exactly why your partner may have been reluctant, distant, or simply uninterested the next time around. You were not failing because of your body. You were failing because of your approach. The most important thing you can do to improve your intimate life is to increase your duration, your presence, and your attentiveness. Women, in particular, respond deeply to a man who takes his time, who is not rushing toward an ending, but who is genuinely invested in the experience itself, a man who listens to her body, who reads her responses, and who adjusts accordingly. That man is rare, and that man is unforgettable. Now let us talk about where true intimacy actually begins, and it does not begin where most men think it does. Foreplay is not optional. Foreplay is not a warm-up act before the real performance. Foreplay is the foundation upon which everything else is built. At a purely physiological level, the female body requires approximately 15 to 20 minutes of stimulation to reach optimal arousal. This is not a preference. This is biology. During this phase, blood flow increases to the genital region, natural lubrication begins to activate, and the nerve endings of the clitoris, which contains approximately 8,000 nerve fibers, start to become increasingly sensitive. Ignoring foreplay is the equivalent of trying to start a car engine without ever turning the key. The mechanism simply cannot function properly. You are setting yourself and your partner up for a disappointing experience before you have even truly begun. So take the time, be present. Caresses, kisses, sincere words spoken softly, a deep and intentional gaze that communicates that you see her, that you are here entirely for this moment. All of this is part of your sexual performance as a man. All of this matters. A man who has truly mastered foreplay is already far ahead of the vast majority of men his partner has ever been with. Now, as we move into penetration, the principle that governs the first phase is slowness. Deliberate, intentional, controlled slowness. Not because slow is the only gear you will ever use, but because slow is where everything must begin. For the first 2 to 3 minutes at minimum, and ideally for as long as 5 minutes, keep your rhythm gentle and calm. Try to delicately graze the clitoral area with your movements. Pay attention. Watch her. Listen to her breathing. What you will begin to notice is extraordinary. Her body will start to respond. She will become more receptive. She will begin to match your rhythm with her own. Her breathing will deepen. Soft sounds will begin to emerge. These are not just reactions. These are signals. Her body is communicating with you. And when you learn to read those signals, you gain the ability to guide the entire experience to a place neither of you will forget. This is where I want to introduce you to what I call the rule of 3 phases, and this framework, if you apply it consistently, will permanently change your intimate life. The first phase is awakening. This is the opening of the experience. Slow, sensory, exploratory. No urgency, no destination in mind, just presence. This phase should last between 2 and 5 minutes. Its only purpose is to open the body and open the connection. The second phase is the ascent. This is where you begin to vary your rhythm. You alternate between deep movements and more shallow ones. You introduce moments of deliberate pause, followed by progressive resumptions. This variation in rhythm is not random, it is intentional. It creates tension, it builds anticipation, it elevates arousal to a peak that neither of you could reach without this phase. Depending on your partner, the ascent can last between 5 and 10 minutes. The third phase is the climax. This is where you release the rhythm entirely, where both bodies finally surrender to the experience completely. This is where the tension that has been building through the first 2 phases reaches its full expression. This is the destination that the entire journey was leading toward. Understanding these 3 phases and applying them with awareness means transforming something ordinary into something deeply memorable. Your partner will feel the difference immediately, not just physically, emotionally. She will feel cared for. She will feel seen. She will feel that this experience was created with her in mind. Now I want to address something that very few men think about in the context of intimacy. Breathing. Your breath is directly connected to your ejaculatory control. This is not speculation. This is established science. When you breathe in short, shallow bursts, your sympathetic nervous system activates. Your blood pressure rises. Tension accumulates rapidly throughout your body, and ejaculation becomes imminent far sooner than you want. On the contrary, when you shift to slow, deep abdominal breathing, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. The system responsible for control, for calm, for sustained presence in the moment. Here is the exact technique. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 2 seconds. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Practice this pattern the moment you feel yourself approaching the point of no return too quickly. This technique is simple, it costs nothing, and it is remarkably effective. Studies in sexual medicine consistently identify breathing control as one of the most powerful non-pharmacological tools available for improving male stamina. As your pace naturally increases and both of you approach the climax together, you will feel a clear sense of completeness, a sense that the experience has been full, mutual, and genuinely satisfying. That is what you are working toward. Not a personal finish line, a shared destination. Men and women respond very differently at a neurological and hormonal level during intimacy. This is not something to be frustrated by. It is something to understand and work with. Men are often wired toward rapid escalation. Women typically require a more gradual, layered buildup. When a man begins with movements that are far too fast, he is working against her body's natural rhythm. He is creating friction without connection, sensation without meaning. Slow movements teach your nervous system to regulate itself more effectively. They extend your ejaculatory control. They increase the depth of sensation your partner experiences, and they create the space necessary for her to climb toward her own climax, rather than waiting for yours to end. Always pause when you need to. Always breathe. Look into her eyes. Check her arousal level. Ask yourself whether she is fully with you or whether she is still catching up. Knowing when to slow down, when to stop momentarily, and when to release into full acceleration is what separates a man who understands intimacy from one who is simply going through the motions. Do not increase your pace until she is fully lubricated and clearly ready. The presence of natural lubrication is your clearest signal that her body has fully arrived into the experience. Before that signal appears, patience is not weakness. Patience is skill. Now I want to address one of the questions my patients ask me most frequently during urological consultations. Do you need supplements or medications to last longer and perform better? My answer is always the same. Technique comes before everything else. A man who has genuinely internalized the rule of 3 phases, who understands how to regulate his breathing, who reads his partner's arousal levels, and who approaches intimacy as a shared experience rather than a solo performance, does not need any pill or supplement to be exceptional. That said, there are genuine medical factors that can impact the quality and duration of erections. Diabetes, arterial hypertension, low testosterone levels, and chronic unmanaged stress are all real conditions that can affect sexual performance at a physiological level. If you have applied every technique I have described today and you continue to experience persistent difficulties, please consult a urologist or a sexual medicine specialist. There are highly effective, evidence-based medical solutions available today, and there is absolutely no shame in seeking that guidance. Your sexual health is a real and meaningful part of your overall health. It deserves the same attention and care as every other aspect of your well-being. What I have shared with you today is not theory. It is a complete, practical framework for transforming your intimate life. The rule of 3 phases, the power of foreplay, the technique of breath control, the importance of reading your partner's body and responding to what you find there. These are the tools of a man who genuinely understands intimacy. But I want to leave you with something that goes even beyond technique. A physical relationship is not only a fusion of bodies, it is a connection of hearts. The emotional safety you create for your partner outside of the bedroom directly shapes the quality of the experience inside it. Take care of your health, reduce your stress, sleep enough, eat well, and most importantly, speak openly and honestly with your partner. That open dialogue is itself a form of emotional foreplay. It creates trust, and trust creates the conditions for the most unforgettable experiences either of you will ever have. Apply what you have learned here. Be patient with yourself as you practice, and watch what begins to change, not just in your intimate life, but in the depth of your relationship as a whole.